Hi there, it's Tiffany. Welcome or welcome back. If you've been watching the news lately, you know there's a lot of craziness going on in the world right now, a whole lot. And with that craziness often comes a sense of insecurity. Now, I don't know about you, but one thing that has always helped me feel grounded and secure is knowing I had the financial ability to take care of myself should any emergencies occur. Here's the problem. For many years, I wasn't making the money I needed to truly stay afloat. And what made it worse was the fact that I wasn't asking to get promoted or demanding to be paid more in my career. And I knew I was worth it. That realization was a wake-up call for me. And that's when I decided to either keep playing small or to start actually valuing myself, stepping up and getting paid more. And let me be clear. This wasn't about going on shopping sprees or taking luxury vacations, although those are nice, don't get me wrong. It was about securing my finances, building freedom, and creating options so I could make the best decisions for my life without fear. And I know if you're watching this, you may be in the exact same spot. You're smart, you're hardworking, you're dependable, you're the person that everyone goes to in life and at work. But let me ask you something. Are you actually getting paid what you're worth? When you think about it, are you just grinding endlessly, hoping somebody notices, only to watch other people that don't work as hard as you get the promotions and the raises? What I had to learn the hard way was that working harder isn't the ticket to moving up. And that's what today is all about. I want to talk to you about why, if you've been over-delivering, over-giving, and overextending yourself without getting paid the recognition, then you deserve to make more money and get paid. Now, before we jump in, be sure to share, like, and subscribe to the channel so others can learn how to level up their careers and level up their lives. So I don't know if I've said this on this channel. I feel like I have. I've had so many jobs in my life, but working in technology sales is definitely the one that helped me in so many ways when it came to understanding how to speak to clients, build rapport, communicate well, and of course, sales skills. And I thought the secret to advancement in that world was outworking everyone else. I just got to work harder. But despite crushing my goals and being the reliable one, I still wasn't moving up. And that's when I discovered a framework that changed everything. And once I applied it, I started getting promoted every single year in a row. Not because I worked more hours, but because I learned how to position myself. So first things first, I started learning how to be visible. And not just how to be visible, like show up and do my job, but how to be visible in multifaceted ways. So I made sure that my supervisors, my team saw me doing things that were meaningful to the company's values, to the work that I did, but also to other things outside of like the everyday grind. So for example, and this is difficult when you work remotely, which working remotely is what I've always done for a long period of time, but even working remotely. So for example, when there was like a project coming up and they needed people to volunteer to, do presentations in front of the company to help with some project that wasn't necessarily your job, but, it was something that they just needed, extra help with. I would volunteer and I would take the time to work on the presentation with that particular team and then present it in front of my company. So it was very strategic in the things that I did. Notice I would volunteer for things that were going to put me in front of the entire company, in front of the CEO, in front of the VP, in front of the COO. And it wasn't something necessarily pertaining to my daily work, but it was something that was going to strategically make me visible to everyone. And I didn't do this all the time. So it wasn't like I was constantly giving presentations and getting in front of the group. It was strategic projects that I knew specific people that were important in the company would be in. Those were the presentations that I would volunteer for. Those were the things I would do. But I did things that were strategic that was going to give me visibility in a way where people could see my skill set. People could see like, wow, Tiffany's a great communicator. Tiffany's very motivating. Tiffany's outgoing. I would even volunteer for like things dealing with like book clubs. And it wasn't, again, so much that I did everything in the book club. But when it was time to step up and do a presentation about the book in front of strategic senior leadership, guess who was doing it? So the point that I'm trying to make is you have to be visible. And yes, of course, to strategic leadership, but visible to your coworkers, visible to your peers. You have to be able to show what your skill set is and what you bring to the table, so that when people think about ideas of who would be good for this, they're thinking about you because you've already shown them in various aspects. You've been visible to them. You've shown them your values and your skill sets. So that was just one way that I was able to start building up this idea of a promotion. And that was by being visible. The second thing that I had to learn to do for myself was to speak with authority, whether it was with clients, with my management team, with my peers. I had to speak from a place of authority. And I know there's a lot of books that talk about language and tone and inflection. And yes, all of that is important, but it's hard to speak with authority if you don't believe in yourself. So I had to work on my own self-belief. So when it comes to speaking within the career space, you have to really pull out this part of you that identifies with the type of person who believes in themselves and believes in what they're saying. So part of speaking with authority is self-belief and self-trust. What I'm saying matters, and it's important for me to get my point across in this meeting or in this presentation. The other thing when it comes to speaking with authority, yes, in tone and inflection and your voice, all of that matters. When you speak like this and it's very soft and nobody can hear you and you're whispering and there's a lot of puffiness sound, or you're speaking like this and it's really fast, and just start teaching yourself how to speak in a calm, subtle, measured way. And if you can change your pitch just a little bit, not too high and not too low, but in your own voice, but just clear how you would speak if you're standing at a podium in front of a crowd. Slow down how you speak. These are all the things that make you sound like you have authority. You're not rushing, your pitch isn't too high, you're not saying like and ums, you're really standing firm. You're pausing when needed, you're looking people in the eye, and you're speaking with competence and confidence. That's what speaking with authority looks like. So I had to learn how to practice how I was speaking in front of groups, in front of team members, and I would stand in front of a mirror when it was time to give presentations or even getting prepared for meetings. I would stand in front of a mirror and I would practice. If you're not accustomed to speaking with authority, yes, you need to practice. But this is the stepping stone for you getting visible, getting in front of your manager, in front of your management team, and showing that you need to get paid what you're worth. The third way that I started making sure that I was positioning myself to get promoted was setting boundaries. Remember when I told you about being visible? And yes, you want to be visible, but you don't want to volunteer for all the projects. You don't want to constantly be a helper and helping people do their work. No, you want to be strategic. So that means setting boundaries around things that are not going to benefit you getting promoted. Saying no sometimes to coworkers that you know they just didn't do their job. Now at the last minute they want you to help. No, I'm not available. There's nothing wrong with helping sometimes, but when you're being used or when you're being manipulated, that's when you have to step up and say, actually, I'm not going to be available for that. No, I can't help you with that. So it takes setting boundaries around things that aren't going to push you forward. And here's a little tip that I had to learn for myself. When someone asks me a question, they want me to do something, they want me to give, I ask myself, how is this going to benefit me? How is this going to benefit me moving forward? That's the first question I ask in my mind. Because at the end of the day, when you are trying to achieve goals, you can't be everybody's everything all the time. You have to be mindful of your own energy, your own time, your own mental, physical, and emotional health first. You have to prioritize yourself. So by setting boundaries with my coworkers, with my teams, and sometimes even my managers, it helped me look like the type of person that wasn't a pushover. And people respected me more. And yes, your managers, even people that might be above you or your supervisors or your VPs, they will respect you more as well. When you say, well, I won't be able to do it this time, but I can help you at this time. They're like, oh, she's nobody to be messed with. You got to give her time frames. So it's important to set boundaries and help people understand you respect yourself, and therefore they need to respect you too. Now, if you want to understand better on how to get seen and paid, then take a look at my brand new free guide, From Invisible to In Demand: How High Achieving Professionals Get Seen, Heard, and Promoted. The link is in the description below. And in this guide, I share 4 powerful strategies to help you stop being overlooked and start becoming undeniable without the burnout. And this is all things that I had to learn the hard way. Because what I realized is being successful isn't about doing more. It's about being strategic and getting noticed for the value that you bring and having the confidence to ask for what you deserve and make your presence impossible to ignore. So definitely click that link in the description to get that free guide to understand how you can be in demand and get paid. I hope you all enjoyed this video. As always, be sure to share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to know whenever I drop a video. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.